Alright guys, today I'm going to go over the 3D figures worksheet. It was a worksheet we had let us do a little while ago. I tried to give everybody enough time to actually attempt it on their own first, so now hopefully you're just using this to correct it. It's going to focus on these formulas, so remember we have to know what everything means, what everything stands for, etc, etc. I have been pretty adamant about how picky I am when it comes to certain things. For example, you have to have the correct units. So if you're doing volume, it's in cubic units. If you're doing area, surface area, it's in square units. All right. Remember, the idea is you have to figure out which shape is which. S is going to stand for total surface area. V is going to stand for volume. H is going to be height of the solid. This one's a little bit harder because some people struggle with height of the solid versus height of the base. So like example, if I had, this is the height of the solid, if I had a triangular base, it would have its own separate height. So that we would actually end up using H in two different ways. A lot of one thing that people mess up on a little bit is perimeter, right? Perimeter of the base, that's why it's underlined. Big B is area of the base. L is called slant height. Sometimes I call slant length because I think it makes more sense if you call it a length when it's an L. And then R is radius. So we're going to go through all of that, and then this is going to go pretty quick. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to identify whether it's a polyhedron. That's very similar to when we talked about a polygon. So a polyhedron has to be entirely made up of polygons. That means it's no rounded edges. So as soon as I see the circle in number 2, I know it's not a polyhedron. As soon as I see the sphere, it's circular in origin, so we know it's not a polyhedron. Now we do at least, even though it's not a polyhedron, we can still identify the solid. This is a cylinder, and this is a sphere. So cones are not polyhedrons. Anything that has a circular region. Now number 1 is it is a polyhedron. So it is a polyhedron. Yes, it's a polyhedron. It is technically a rectangular prism. It could be a square prism based on if we knew more information about this side right here. If that was a square, we could call that a square prism, but it's guaranteed to be a rectangular prism. All right. Remember, this is the base. A prism, by definition, means it has two congruent polygons connected by parallelograms. That's what happens here, and this time it's rectangles. The interesting part about a parallelogram, about a rectangular prism, is that I could call these two orange pieces the bases. So I could say the bases are the top and bottom. If I say that the bases are the top and bottom, then that means the faces are the 4 rectangles or parallelograms connecting. So this would be 1, 2, 3, and then the front one, 4. So the left one, the back one, the right one, and the front one. So that says connecting the bases. All right. But I also, because it's a rectangular prism, I really could do this. I could say that this is the base. It doesn't have to be laying. It doesn't always have to lay on the base. So I could say that the bases are the left and the right. So this is another option. So I could say the bases are the left and the right, and that would make the faces. That would make the faces the other 4. So the front and the top and bottom. So the top and the bottom. The front and the back. So that would make 1, 2, 3, and then the front one 4. So either way, all right? Now, the edges, that's all the line segments. So there's an edge, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12 edges. It's all the segments. Now, the vertices are all the points where multiple edges meet. And there's 8 vertices. Right? Let's make that a little bit neater. All right, so that's it. That's all we're doing for those ones. And now, really, number 2 does have 2 bases. So this is a base, and this is a base. There are no faces, there are no vertices. That's the main reason why it's not a polyhedron. Like 3, the reason why it's not a polyhedron, you can't identify a base, you can't identify a face, there's no vertices, it's not a polyhedron. All right. So 4 and 5 are find the surface area and volumes. We've been doing this in class quite a bit, so I'm going to go pretty quick here. So you have to remember that the surface area volume is this. So if you're not sure, you're going to look on your hint page. So for number 4, the surface area, this is the surface area. The surface area is 4 pi r squared. So I just write it 4 pi r squared. Now I'm just gonna write it without r. I'm gonna put empty set of parentheses. My radius is 7, so I put 7 right there. I'm literally going to type it into my calculator exactly like that. You must have this step. Must have this step. If you don't have this step and you have an answer, you're not going to get credit. So you must show me this step, right? You could not show me anything else, but you at least have to show me that step. So I end up with 615.75. Because I use the pi button, not 3.14. Because I'm rounding, I'm going to use the approximate symbol. So I'm going to say 615.75, and it is square meters. Now volume. Volume. Right here, 4/3 pi r squared. So I write 4/3 pi r squared. Volume equals 4/3 pi, empty set of parentheses. I don't know why I said squared, it is cubed. Alright, I just wrote the formula down wrong. And to be honest, guys, that's one of the biggest mistakes is somebody just writes the formula down wrong. So I put 7 in right there. This is what I'm going to type in my calculator. Remember, you must have this step to get credit. So I'm literally just going to, and I use the ABC button, so I say 4 ABC 3. I don't round this. I don't put like 1.33. I just put 4 over 3 for ABC 3. I could do 4 divided by 3. I would recommend putting it in parentheses. You're going to do that. But parentheses, 7. I use the caret button. That's a little triangle button. Then 3. I end up with the volume is, remember, it's going to be approximate because we're going to round. It's 1,436.76. I rounded the hundredths. And it's going to be cubic meters. Done. All right, that's it for 4. All right, number 5. It is a prism because there are 2 congruent polygons connected by rectangles. This is actually a rectangular prism. It is definitely not a square prism because this and this are different lengths. So the surface area, I'm going to use this formula right here. I'm going to say surface area is equal to the perimeter of the base. So whatever you decide the base is, times the height, plus 2 times the area of the base. That's why it's big B. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to write empty set of parentheses for everything. And now I'm going to find big P. So that means I have to determine what the base is. So I'm going to say the bottom is the base because I think that's what most of you would do anyhow. So this is what I'm calling the base. So I'm going to pull out this rectangle right here. And to me it looks like it's going to be 5 by 9. So that means the perimeter would be 2 times 5 plus 2 times 9. So 10 plus 18, my perimeter is going to be 38. And it's really 38 inches. So I put 38 right there. Now the area, that's going to be the inside of this. So that's 5 times 9. So the area of this is base times height, or length times width. So my area is going to be equal to 45, because I did 5 times 9 square inches. So I'm going to put the area, remember that's big B, that's going to go right here. Now, I look and see, I used, for my perimeter, I used 5, I used 9. Since I didn't use that, 12, that's got to be my height of my solid. That's probably the easiest way, I think, to figure it out. So that's all the work you need, is this surface area equals 38 times 12 plus 2 times 45. So I'm going to put in my calculator, parentheses 38, parentheses 12, plus 2 times 45. I end up with surface area is 546. So my surface area is equal to 546, and it is square inches. Done. Volume, a little bit different. Volume is equal to the area of the base times the height. Look, I got that right here. We already know the area of the base. So volume is equal to, parentheses, parentheses, right? I'm going to put 45 in for big B, because that's what I found out. I'm going to put in 12 for H. So all I do is 45 times 12. So my volume is going to equal to 540. This time it is cubic inches. Right? That's it for 5. All right. So 6 is a triangular prism. So 6 is a triangular prism. So we're still going to be using this information right here. I'm still going to be using this surface area, and I'm still going to be using the volume formula. All right? So this is a prism. It is a prism. This is a if I can spell, this is a triangular prism. All right, that's important that you understand. This triangular part means that this is the base. So it is not laying on its base, it's laying on its side. All right, this is the base. So I'm going to pull out that triangle, and I find out it is 12 by 16 by 20. 12 by 16 by 20. So the perimeter of my base, or of my triangle, so that's the perimeter, is going to be 12 plus 16 plus 20. So I'm going to get my perimeter is equal to 12 and 16 is 28, plus 20 is 48 centimeters. So my first formula is going to be surface area equals the perimeter times the height plus 2 times the base. So to find surface area, that's what I do. Remember, I just write it with empty set of parentheses. And I found out that 48 is going to go right here. Now to find the height, right? The only one that I did not use for my triangle, so look, I used 16, 20, and 12. 16, 12, and 20. I cross off. The only one I didn't use is 10, so that has to be the leftover for my height of the figure. So even though it's laying on its side, 10 is still the height of the figure. The most common mistake is somebody's going to think the bottom rectangle is the base, and it is not. Right? Now I'm going to find the area of the base. So big B is equal to, that's the area of this triangle, 1/2 base times height. So this is the height, this is the base, because it's a 90-degree triangle. So I'm going to say big B is 1/2 16 times 12. So my big B is equal to 96 square centimeters. So I put 96 right here. And now I just plug that in my calculator. I just do 48 times 10 plus 2 times 96. So I do 48 parentheses 10 parentheses plus 2 times 96. I end up with 672. So my surface area is equal to 672, and it is square centimeters. Volume is equal to the area of the base times the height. That's from right here. Well, I already know the area of the base. The area of the base is 96, and the height is 10. So my volume is equal to the area of the base times the height. I put 96 in for right there, 10. So my volume is going to be equal to 960, and it is cubic I wrote a little 2, it should be a 3, cubic centimeters. And that's it. Alright, I believe I made this 12 feet. I could be wrong, so if I made that wrong, you have to fix that. So we're doing a cylinder now. Right, so a cylinder has slightly different concepts. Right? So my surface area is equal to 2 pi r h plus 2 pi r squared. The radius is not 13. The radius is half of 13. So my r is going to be equal to 6.5. They gave us the diameter. So I'm going to write my formula. S equals 2 pi. Instead of r, I put empty set of parentheses. Instead of h, put empty set of parentheses. Plus 2 pi r squared. Now, wherever I see r, I'm going to put 6.5. So I put 6.5 here, 6.5 there. Wherever I see it, 12, that's going to be my h. I'm going to put 12 right there. So I'm just going to type it in my calculator exactly the way it sees. That's it. I'm going to press 2, then the pi button, then parentheses, 6.5, close parentheses, 12 plus 2 pi 6.5 squared. I end up with surface area is about, remember, because we used pi, I had to round, 755.55. And it is square feet. Now volume. Volume is equal to pi r squared times the height. Volume is equal to, so I'm looking right, empty set of parentheses. We already know the height, it's 12, so I put it in there. We already know r is 6.5. So this is going to be a little bit of calculator work. I'm going to type it in exactly like that. Remember, because I'm going to use pi in my calculator, I'm going to end up rounding. So I'm going to write pi, parentheses, 6.5, close parentheses, squared times 12. I end up with 1,592.79. So I have 1,592.79, and it is cubic feet. Remember, you will lose points if you do not have the correct label, so make sure you have the correct label. All right, 8 and 9, I already put the formulas on there. So start off with surface area. So just like everything, this should be real simple. Write the formula. Even if you don't know what you're doing and you can't write the formula, I don't know what to tell you, because then you're probably not trying. So the base is this orange square. It's a regular pyramid. Right? The base is the orange square. So my base is going to be, my perimeter is going to be 14 plus 14, which is 28, plus another 14, plus another 14, which is 56. So the perimeter is going to be 14 times 4, or 14 plus 14 plus 14, so my perimeter is 56. So remember, the first thing I do is I just write this out without any letters. I just put parentheses instead of the letters. So I found out the perimeter is 56. I put that right there. Now L is the slant length. That's 25. Now the area of the base, I got to find the area of my base. So that's this part. That's 14 times 14, which is 196. And I just plug it in exactly like that. So I do 1 ABC2, 56, close it, 25 plus 196. I end up with 896 square feet. So my surface area is equal to 896 square feet. Now volume, I do 1/3 the area of the base times the height. Now so I'm going to write it. Volume equals 1/3. Instead of base, I'm going to put empty parentheses. Instead of height, I'm putting empty parentheses. I already know that the area of the base is 196. Right? I already found it, so I just put it right there. Remember, if you don't understand how I found big B, it was 14 times 14. So I kind of didn't show that. Now the height is 24. This is h. That's what we have to use for this one. So I just type my calculator. 1 ABC3 times 196 times 24. Volume is 1,568. So my volume is 1,568, and it is cubic feet. All right? Because remember, volume is capacity. So 9, I'm going to do the exact same thing I did before. So write the formula. Pi r L plus pi r squared. Surface area is pi times radius times slant height or length plus pi parentheses squared. Now my 8 is my r, so wherever I see an r I put 8. I'm going to use 17 here. That's my length. Alright? And I'll just type that in my calculator exactly the way it seems, and I'm going to get my surface area. So you at least have to show this step. You must show this step right there. If you don't show it, you're not going to get any points. So pi, parentheses 8, close parentheses, 17, close parentheses, plus pi 8 squared. So I have 628.32. So surface area is about, remember we used pi, so we had to round, 628.32, and it is square kilometers. Volume is equal to 1/3 pi r squared h. So I'm going to write it without any parentheses. 1/3 pi, without any letters, I'm going to put parentheses. So now I know r is 8, so I'll put 8 in right there. Remember, h is actually going to be 15. This is my height. So I'll put 15 there. And I just typed in my calculator exactly like that. 1 ABC3 pi button 8 squared times 15. I end up with my volume is about, approximate symbol, because I rounded, 1005.31 cubic kilometers. Right? That's it. Alright, so I'm going to put a cube over here. So on what I'm going to do first is I'm going to draw this cube. Let's see if I can do a better job of that. So I'm going to draw this cube. Alright, this cube, if we don't know what the dimensions are, all three of those dimensions are the same. So if I were to find the surface area, that is the perimeter times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. You could actually Google, there's a specific formula for surface area of a cube, and they did it by finding this. The surface area is, the perimeter is 4x, and then the height is x, and the area is x squared. So end up what we have is 4x squared plus 2x squared. Those are like terms. So the actual surface area formula for a cube, there is a shortcut formula called surface area is 6 times side squared. All right. Now I know that the side is 108, so I'm going to plug that in right here. I don't know what x is. So now this is just an algebra 1 solve problem. We have to get rid of the multiplication first, so I divide both sides by 6. So I end up with x squared equals 18. Now to get rid of the little 2, I have to square root both sides. So I just do square root of 18. So my actual side length, and it's going to be approximate because it's a decimal, is going to be about 4.24 regular inches because we worked backwards. Right. Now the volume of a cube is going to be the area of the base, which is x squared, times the height, which is x. So volume is x squared times x. So the shortcut volume of a cube is just side cubed. So if I know that 512 goes in right there, now to get rid of the little 3, it's called a cube root. It's its own little thing. And if you're not sure, you're just going to have to ask me how to plug that in. You type 3, and then you put x check mark, 512, and up with 8. Or you could just realize you can kind of guess and check. Like 8 times 8 times 8, that's the only way to get 512. So x is equal to 8 centimeters. Now 12 and 13 are going to kind of correlating to what your Firestarter from yesterday. So this is actually going to go over Firestarter 28. So Firestarter 28 said draw a line. Right? If that line is 12 inches, it's also 1 foot. Right? Now I'm going to draw a square. So basically, we can say we know this is what we know. We know that 1 foot is equal to 12 inches. And this is why, right? I have a line that's 12 inches long. I can measure it as 12 inches or 1 foot. Now, if I have a square that is 1 foot by 1 foot, well, the area of that is 1 square feet. Now, if I draw that same exact square, pretend it's the same, but now my square is not 12 inches, or not 1 foot, but 12 inches. Then the area of this part is going to be 144 square inches. So that means 1 square foot is the same as 144 square inches. We can go even further with a cube. If I have a cube and it is 1 foot by 1 foot by 1 foot, the volume is 1 cubic foot. Now if I change that to 12 by 12 by 12, this becomes 12 times 12 times 12, so the volume in inches is way different than the volume in feet. So 12 times 12 times 12 is 1,728. So 1 cubic foot is 1,728 cubic inches. Now we're just going to kind of use that idea. So a gift box has a surface area of 12.5 square feet. So 12.5 square feet. What is the surface area in square inches? So I have feet. I want to end up in square inches. So what I tell everybody is the basic way to determine whether you're supposed to multiply or divide is basically you're going to multiply by something. And that something, the top and bottom have to be the same because that's like multiplying by 1. So I do this with any conversion. If I'm changing inches to feet, feet to inches, kilograms to pounds, any conversion, I make a box that equals 1. Now, I know that 1 foot and 144 square inches are the same thing. So I'm going to put 144 square inches right there. And on the bottom, I'm going to put 1 foot, square foot. This box equals 1 since the top and the bottom are the same. I could have flipped it. I could have wrote square feet on top and inches on bottom, but here's why I wrote it this way. The feet cancel. And that means the only thing I'm going to end up with is inches. So the way to convert square feet to square inches is you multiply 12.5 by 144. I end up with 1,800 square inches. Now, if that was 12.5 feet, you just multiply by 12. Right? If that was not square feet. So if it was feet, you just multiply by 12. But since it's square feet, you multiply 144. So a pyramid has a volume of 8,600 cubic inches, 8,640 cubic inches. So I'm going to multiply. Remember, whatever I do here, the top and bottom have to match. I put inches on the bottom, so I put 1,728 cubic inches on the bottom, and then that means the top is 1 cubic foot. So this top and this bottom, they're the same. The reason I put inches on the bottom is because I want those inches to cancel. So really to figure out this answer, I just do 8,640 divided by 1,728. And I end up with 5 cubic feet. That's it. The keyword is redundancy. The keyword is redundancy.